Is there a more silent place than space, the final frontier? Of course not. Where there is nothing, there's also nothing that can transport sound waves. Which is why, contrary to popular Hollywood belief, the real space is absolutely silent. And which is also why we sent up one of our silent superstars up there. It's a very cold morning in our Hamburg headquarters, but also a cloudless one. Finally, the Stratoflights guys can arrive, assemble their equipment and work their magic. We've had to postpone our starting appointment 8 times, not just because the cloud cover, which is quite typical for the northern part of Germany, continued to actively sabotage our spaceflight endeavors, but also because of the wind in the higher parts of the atmosphere, which would have very probably pushed our balloon straight into the Baltic Sea. This is what the flexible hull of the balloon looks like, which is being filled with about 5,000 liters of regular helium from 2 portable gas cylinders while Paul holds the balloon steady. Helium is very easy to produce by cooling down natural gasoline and has the second lowest density of all chemical elements, which makes it lighter than air. Also, it has one chemical property that makes it perfect for the stratosphere flight. It remains a gas up until the absolute 0 point, which is at minus 273.15 degrees Celsius. The balloon behind me is almost ready. Actually, there's only one ingredient missing, the most important one, our Silent Wings 3. We are going to attach it now and send it into the biggest quiet room of them all, outer space. Well, let's see if we can make it a bit cooler. Using hot glue, both Silent Wings 3 fans are being attached to the styrofoam probe. One of the impellers is locked in position, the other remains free to rotate as it sees fit. Afterwards, the full probe, including its parachute, is being weighed, so to find out the optimal ratio of weight to ascending force. The probe contains 3 action cams including additional batteries, so that it can continuously record over 4 hours of flight. And thanks to the custom created PCB, a ton of in-flight data is being recorded and can be analyzed afterwards using a dedicated software. The probe is being attached to the balloon, followed by one final look at everything, including the highly important GPS location transmitter, which is necessary to be able to find the probe after it descended back to our Earth. And then, well, off we go!
3, 2, 1, go!
So Freunde, weg ist er. Ich sehe ihn da noch als ganz kleinen weißen Punkt. 5000 Liter passen in den Ballon rein. Da war noch ein bisschen über. Ich dachte mir, no, da nehme ich nochmal einen Zug. Also unser Silent Wings steigt jetzt in 35 Kilometer Höhe, 65 Grad minus. Arschkalt ist das, arschkalt. Allein von dem Gedanken kriege ich Brain Frost. Naja, bis später Ballon.
Of course, the aforementioned flight into space was slightly exaggerated. Following the Earth's surface, there's the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the ionosphere, and finally the exosphere before we can actually talk about being in outer space. And while we are leaving the city limits of Hamburg, which you can clearly see in the background here, let me tell you why our Silent Wings 3 is not out of place up here. The first 2 spheres contain about 99% of the air mass, as you can see in our flight's air pressure chart. Also, the ascension speed looks like it's being drawn using a ruler, as opposed to the horizontal velocity. Right now, we are at about 15 kilometers in height, at the upper limit of the tropopause. It's up here where most of the long distance flights happen. That's because right here you're way above any weather influences and can use the jet streams to your advantage. And indeed, between climbing from 8 to 16 kilometers, our balloon has traveled quite the horizontal distance. If you also take a look at the blue curve representing the temperature, you are probably going to be a bit puzzled about the variability. Up until here, the temperature continually sinks as the troposphere is warmed by the heat being reflected from the Earth's surface. In the stratosphere, on the other hand, the temperature is rising again, as the ozone layer absorbs the sun's UV light and transforms it into heat. And that's not exactly a thin layer, as it stretches from 20 through 45 kilometers above sea level, in which the temperature can reach up to 0 degrees Celsius again. So if you ever think about becoming an astronaut, please pack more than just your trunks. Without a proper spacesuit, you will probably survive the temperatures for a while, but certainly not the lack of pressure equalization. And this is what floating in 37 kilometers looks like, mere moments before the balloon explodes. It inevitably does so, as up here there is almost no more air pressure, which makes the helium expand continually until the balloon hull reaches its stretching maximum. It also means that the atmosphere leaves an air pressure of a mere 2.14 hectopascals, as opposed to 1025 of them within Hamburg. Dispersion of sonic waves needs an elastic medium. But up here there is only a slightly simplified 2.7 by 10 to the power of 16 molecules per cubic centimeter, which is near what we would call a medium vacuum compared to the 10 to the power of 19 molecules per cubic centimeter on Earth. This condition is still eons away from the 1 molecule per cubic centimeter on average at 800 kilometers height, but still, this is a near perfect noise-free space, which in layman's terms is a vacuum. And then, bam! The ever-expanding balloon finally explodes and the probe returns to Earth dangling on a parachute. No need to worry though, while it occasionally lands in a lake or a river, it never does on a street or highway according to stratoflights. The probability for that is simply too low. By the way, the German Weather Service launches at least 2 of these balloons each and every day.
I hope you've liked this video and maybe even learned something from it. Let us know what you think of it, and if you want us to create more of this in the future, please subscribe to our channel. See you and stay quiet.